So now that Quest Pro has officially been announced, the next logical question is how does it stack up against the most popular VR headset on the market, Meta Quest 2? In this video, we'll cover the specs of both headsets and simply look beyond the on-paper specs. Let's start with the most straightforward specs comparison. Looking at the numbers of the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro, the sad truth is that there's not a big jump in resolution between these two headsets. The Quest Pro's resolution comes in at 1800 by 1920 per eye LCD display, while the Quest 2 includes 1832 by 1920. Wait. Quest 2 actually has a better resolution than the Quest Pro? Well, yes, but there's more to the story. Quest Pro uses the new pancake lens technology, which allows the headset to be more compact and creates a 50% larger sweet spot to see clearly. This means that you don't have to perfectly align your headset in order to see clearly. Quest Pro also uses local dimming that allows for 75% higher contrast than the Quest 2. These features combined are very important to doing anything in VR, but especially when you're working in VR by doing research or editing documents. Let's get into the refresh rate. The refresh rate of the headset is very important to see how smooth your videos appear within virtual reality. The Quest Pro runs at a constant 90 Hz, while the Quest 2 runs at 72 Hz normally, but it can run up to 120 Hz. If you made the statement that Quest 2 supports a higher refresh rate, you would be correct. 90 Hz is considered to be the industry standard for a VR headset, and having 120 Hz is only the cherry on top. We have to keep in mind that even though Quest 2 is capable of running at 120 Hz, the majority of the games currently available on the Meta Quest Store runs at 72 Hz on the headset, while a small number of games runs at 90 Hz or 120 Hz. You'll see some nice upgrades when it comes to the adjustments of IPD, and this is very important with VR or XR headsets. If you're a Quest 2 user, you're used to the 3-step IPD adjustments. I personally think this is one of the worst features of Quest 2. Now with Quest Pro, you get a stepless or continuous IPD adjustments, and best of all, you can adjust it without taking off your headset. Thanks to the eye tracking feature, Quest Pro will measure the distance between your eyes and tell you exactly where to position your lens to see clearly. Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 definitely got the job done when it comes to powering the Quest 2. With Meta's claim of Quest Pro being 50% more powerful, they absolutely needed a better chip. Instead of waiting for the next generation of the XR2 chip lineup, Meta worked with Qualcomm to design the new XR2 Plus chip. Obviously, as the name suggests, XR2 and XR2 Plus are pretty much the same chip, but XR2 Plus is backed up by 12 gigs of RAM, vice the 6 gigs available on Quest 2. The Plus chip also includes better cooling feature, which allows the headsets to run much higher speeds without overheating the headset. The big question for the chip is how many new features is the chip supporting? The Quest Pro has 6 new sensors that were added on from the Quest 2, and many of their sensors are much higher in resolution. This means that the XR2 Plus chip is processing a lot more data as quickly as possible, but after all, the claim Meta made seems promising, so you have to give some props to the new XR2 Plus chip. Field of view, or FOV, is something that is often talked about with VR headsets. The FOV of Quest Pro comes in at 106 degrees compared to the 96 degrees available on Quest 2. FOV is a tricky one just because it can vary depending on how far or close in you set your IPD, and it can also change slightly depending on your facial features. What's really nice about the Quest Pro is that it includes eye relief adjustments, which allow you to move the lens closer to your eyes, which can increase comfortability as well as the FOV. This is a major upgrade from the Quest 2 in my opinion, as the Quest 2 has a static lens that can't move closer or further out. Another thing to know about the Quest Pro is that this headset is designed with an open view compared to the Quest 2, which tries to block out the outside world as much as possible. This little design feature allows you to feel much more natural when using the Passthrough feature on the headset. Even if you don't plan on using the Passthrough feature all that often, you can install the light blocker to block out the outside, and you can also purchase the full light blocker for a much better immersive experience. The Quest Pro offers a lot of customization that's right for all users. On paper, Quest Pro is much heavier at 722 grams compared to Quest 2's 503 grams. Quest 2's weight is based on the not too comfortable head straps, which also don't have the best balance. Many people who own the Quest 2 also got their head strap upgrade through Kiwi or Bobo VR, so when you're considering the weight of the upgrade, it's probably much closer to the Quest Pro. In my opinion, adding weight isn't much of an issue as long as you add it in the right place. The closer in weight of the front and the back portion of the headset, the more balanced the headset will be, which creates much more stability and comfort. Regardless of what's on paper, I do think the weight of the Quest Pro isn't an issue and will be much more comfortable than the regular Quest 2 without any upgrades. Battery life is the hardest part to justify in my opinion. Quest 2 offers a battery life of 2 to 3 hours, and there was a massive market for companies to build a head strap with batteries installed or battery attachments. With Quest Pro, the specs of the battery life is listed at 1 to 2 hours, which will turn away a lot of people who are considering this headset. John Carmack, who's consulting CTO of Oculus VR, did state that 1 to 2 hours of battery life is with the new features included, such as eye and face tracking, as well as the full color pass-through. Since the battery itself is bigger than the Quest 2, if you use the Quest Pro without these new features, the battery should last longer than the Quest 2. Meta also did try to address this problem by pushing the charging dock, which will be included in the box. As long as you set your headset on the charging dock every time, you'll have a fully charged Quest Pro ready to go. This will definitely be one of those features that you underappreciate until you actually own the headset. Regardless, the battery life is short for how much this headset costs. I'm sure as soon as the headset is actually released, there will be ways to attach an external battery to the Quest Pro to extend its battery life. Controller tracking is one of the best features included in Meta Quest Pro. The new Touch Pro controllers have inside-out tracking, which allows the controllers to be self-tracked. This means that controllers can be tracked precisely even if it's behind you or out of sight from your headset. You also notice that with the new controllers, the tracking ring is gone, which makes it less likely to bump the controllers together. The controller itself has new sensors that track your index finger movements, track the stylus sensor, and 3 haptic motors to make haptic feedback much more realistic. Even if you're not planning on getting the Quest Pro, the Touch Pro controllers are compatible with Quest 2, so that's a win-win for everyone. Unfortunately, the controllers also have a big price tag of $300. One of the biggest features of the Quest Pro is face tracking. The Quest Pro has 5 inward-facing sensors that track the eyes and the face, allowing the headset to make really cool models of your facial expressions. The face tracking technology is in its early stages, but you can make your VR experience much more realistic, especially in social VR apps.
Okay, I would never do that. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Oh god, no! No!
Eye tracking is another big feature that's included in this headset, but it does much more than making your avatar look more real. With foveated rendering, the headset can render high-resolution pictures only in the area that you're currently looking at, which allows the graphics to be much more detailed without increasing the processing power of the headset. As you move your eyes to somewhere else, the eye tracker follows your gaze to render the new place you're looking at. That's some pretty cool technology. I'm so excited to see what creative ways game and app developers will be able to use face and eye tracking in the future. Just like the Quest 2, the audio for the Quest Pro is built directly onto the headset. This style of audio will never compete with headphones or over-the-ear ones that give you max immersion. Regardless, Meta claims that they made some improvements with the speakers installed on the Quest Pro. The improved speakers give you much deeper bass tones, and they were able to reduce the sound others hear from the headset by 10 decibels, which makes it quieter for those around you. Quest 2 and Quest Pro both offer a pass-through experience, but Quest Pro just does it so much better. The obvious one everyone noticed are the full color version on the Quest Pro versus the grayish one on the Quest 2. Meta also confirmed that the Quest Pro's forward-facing sensors are about twice as clear as the ones on the Quest 2. There are much more improvements to go in the future, but ×2 resolutions on sensors, that's really good. With the new features of the Quest Pro, the headset will finally be able to truly experience quality AR and VR, making it one of the best headsets in the market.